Hello, hello, beautiful soul. Radha here, and I just thought it would be so lovely to read to you from the Radiant Sutras. My dad recommended that I get this book. He is such an avid reader my entire life. He's always had like a prolific collection of books. And I always rebelled against my dad, so I didn't care about him or his books, for some time when I was going through my rebellious years. And, as I get older, and closer to my father too, I really appreciate his wisdom and I can see the beauty that he is. And so when he told me about the Radiant Sutras, I just ordered it. And I would love to share this poem with you. You whose existence melts me. Whenever you dissolve into helpless laughter, transported by a magic show, antics or jokes, having your armpits tickled, drenched by sudden shower, or any of nature's tricks, dive into the source of that laughter. Surrender to the surge of joy, illuminating the essence of reality. Isn't that beautiful? You could pick up any page. Let's do another one. So I just close my eyes and go, okay. Give me the one. Waves rise from water. Flames arise from fire. Rays emanate from the sun. So do you and I shine forth from the mysterious one. And you can see it has Sanskrit. Whoa. I don't know if you can see, but it has Sanskrit on top. I thought this was so beautiful. And there's a lot of practices in here as well. So yeah, the reason why I'm bringing all of this up is because something beautiful has emerged inside of me, but also it's not just for me. So something has birthed for the collective that I would love to invite you into. So I want to talk about the Radiant Sutras, sensual poetry for deeper healing. And I've been talking a lot about, sensuality and coming back to our divinity, coming back to our sensuality. There is a reason why this is very important, and it has a lot to do with the fact that, like everything in our life, everything in our life in some way has been exposed or tainted by society, society's consciousness. And I was talking about the idea that so much of who we are as humans, as beings, as earthlings, as breathing, conscious beings, sometimes conscious, sometimes not, um, how so much of us has been pulled apart in our lives because that's how society wants it to be. That's how we've been dissected into different pieces. Our worth has been about our job, our income, our height, our weight, our bodies, things that may mean not as much as we put energy onto. And, many times people they choose to be in relationships with people because of those things, or choose not to be in those relationships because of those things or lack of those things. And how we've all lost ourselves at some point, right? It's just the truth. At some point, we've all lost ourselves, and we've given in. We gave in to these structures, these societal norms. We all wanted to fit in, and some of us rebelled a lot, and then we go through different phases in our life. But the point is that it's time for us to really start to call back all of our pieces that we've left behind. Call back our innocence, which we may have abandoned because this world doesn't really cherish, honor, protect innocence. And when I say innocence, I mean starting from a young age, but innocence can be in every situation. Innocence in love, when we go into a relationship with good faith and we are innocent in our hearts, and other people have agendas, and that innocence has been abused, and that goes across the board in every area of our life. It's almost like there's been a campaign against innocence, and I think we're longing to embody that. The innocence is also part of our sensual self. The innocence is who we are, before people have crossed our boundaries in many different kinds of ways. And innocence is that part of us that actually is connected to our joy. If you think about it, like really, really like feel into your innocence and take a deep breath and just feel it. Feel it in your body. Do you feel innocence anywhere inside of you? For me, I could feel it like right here. There are certain things that activate our innocence and really bring that beauty back to us, because that part of us is perhaps the most radiant, divine part of us. And I'm here to tell you, you can reclaim your innocence. And, doing the things that make us feel childlike wonder. For me, like holding my little dog Lucky, it brings me so much joy. And that feeling of innocence comes back to me. And it's a radiant feeling. It's a feeling. It's not a feeling of trying to accomplish anything. It's actually an embodiment. And so, being around children, that really activates that beautiful feeling of wonder and innocence. And it's such a beautiful thing. It's perhaps the most beautiful thing. And so I've been really getting these downloads, is what happens for me, about doing a sensual poetry book. And it wasn't something I thought of, but actually it kept coming up in poems from the heart that people wanted to express more and deeper in sensual ways. And the truth of our sensuality, which doesn't have to even be sexual, is that's also where our radiant innocence lives within us. It's the sense of wonder. It's a sense of it's like a delightful feeling, you know? And so when I speak about sensuality, it's not a trying to be something. It's not not trying to be anything. It's not a wannabe thing. It's an embodiment thing. And, think about going into like a garden, and maybe you have the whole garden to yourself, a beautiful garden with roses, and it's a garden where there's birds chirping and butterflies and dragonflies. Perhaps there's a fountain in the garden, and perhaps there's a place you can sit, like a little seating area, a bench. And perhaps you go with a cup of tea, or you come with your book, and you just sit there and you take your shoes off and you just take a deep breath, and you smell the sweetness, the effulgence of the rose, and your senses are delighted. And you don't have an agenda. Your only agenda is to soak in as much as you possibly can in this moment. And as you sit there, you start to feel the fullness of your being. In the hurried part of your day, perhaps you felt you lost yourself. You just were going, where are you? And as you sit down in this space, all of a sudden, you feel yourself come back into yourself, and you feel grounded into the earth. And the green starts to permeate inside of you, and it starts to heal without even trying. And the birds chirping are singing songs for you. And the breeze that you feel across your face, it's delightful. You can feel delighted. And again, you're not doing anything at all. You're simply being. And that is something we've all forgotten. We've all forgotten at times because we have all these technologies and these phones, and sometimes it's, easier to scroll than it is to sit with yourself, because it's just part of the programming. And so it becomes rarer and rarer for us to sit somewhere like that and simply be. And so this is why, this Radiant Sutra, essential poetry for deeper healing, was created, is that it's a place for your soul to rest, not to RIP, but to rest, to rejuvenate. Just like we sit on that bench and we are just being, we have to carve out places in our life for that, because if we don't, we'll be, we become slaves very easily. I'm always working on my computer and stuff like that. So even for me, I have to create sacredness. And so it's going to be such a lovely journey back, like receiving back into ourselves, feeling back into this. And so I'll just share a little bit about it. It took a little bit of time to figure it out, because I was going, okay, people wanted to write erotic poetry, sensual poetry, and it kind of just came into the space. And I just thought of the radiant rose and how sensual a rose is, without ever doing a thing, but existing. And how we all have that within us. And it is especially important to come back into our own radiant spaces and to create those radiant spaces within us as the times on earth are shifting, are changing, are very erratic, are unnerving, and it can be very hard to find your footing at times. And so, you have to carve your own little path and your own little garden. And that garden will be a place that you come back to again and again. And that is part of what this is we're creating a beautiful garden container for you to come and to be and to enjoy poetry and to come and breathe. We're going to be doing some breath work at the beginning of each session. And we are going to be dropping inside and feeling more into our inner world, because the outer world is very dynamic. There's always something going on, always something positive, exciting, something negative and terrible. And so if you don't create an equilibrium inside of you, you can get really swayed by the world. And it can be very hard to be here if you're always getting swayed by the world and what's happening outside. And you need to start, you don't need to, but I found that by creating spaces that are soft places to land within me, that I can be very connected and very centered despite all of it, And so this is a tool, place, a sanctuary that you can come. And I will be having a beautiful poet, a sensual poet, and a teacher join us and co-lead. And her name is Gila. And Gila, you will get to meet her because I will introduce her to you. She's led many other sensual poetry groups, and I really adore her. She is a beautiful woman who lives in Israel, and there's so much to say, but I will save it for her so she can share who she is with you, because I just adore her. She's such an amazing woman, and I'm very proud of her. And she's a wonderful teacher. So I was so happy. I've been putting it out there and interviewing people, and she's the right one. So she will be co-leading this and really helping to hold that beautiful space for us all. And when somebody like her is, helping to co-create this container, it becomes even more solid. It becomes even more strong and fortified, so that inside it can be softer and we can have more support for the people joining. This is going to be a very intimate occasion where we will just be having, a smaller number of people joining us. And that is how I really enjoy it, because I get to know people. It's not mass production. I mean, we don't do that in our company. Radhaa Publishing House is a boutique publishing house run by women of color, and we do things a little different around here. we get things done, we accomplish things, but we also do things a little different. We like to take our time and really get to know who we are working with, who we are, co-creating with. And so it becomes very special to have these sacred groups where we can come to, and familiar faces, warm spaces, hot tea, beautiful poetry that we will be reading and sharing. And it's, we're going back old school. We're going back. Maybe we'll be using a pen and paper, or pencil and paper. That's kind of nice. I like the pencil. And just really going a little bit deeper, and this is going to fortify your life in other ways, because when we have one thing that is central in our life and that we keep coming back to again and again, and that we know is safe, it starts to develop something within us, a feeling of security, a feeling of belonging, a feeling of joy, because there's this freedom and you can look forward to something over and over again. And I'm excited. So I'll just read a little bit about what this is. So at Radhaa Publishing House, we believe poetry is not just an art form, but a profound exploration of the soul, a bridge between the tangible and the ethereal, the physical and the emotional, and we're thrilled to present the Sensual Poet Workshop, a deeply transformative journey into the heart of sensual expression through the power of poetry. Whether you're a seasoned poet or an enthusiastic beginner, this workshop will elevate your craft, unlock your deepest emotions, and immerse you in the exquisite spectrum of sensuality. And so we are going to start very soon. Would you like to join us? We would love to have you. And so part one is it's a transformational journey. And so each time we meet, we're going to have something new we're going to work with, like kind of like in levels and layers. So we're going to be working on discovering the language of desire. Dive into the art of voicing unspoken emotions with masterful word choices and evocative imagery that resonate with the soul's deepest yearnings. Transform your poetic voice to reflect the profound beauty of desire. I think desire is a big deal. We all feel it, and we all deal with it a little bit differently. But I like to take desire and create create something beautiful from it, because it can be destructive or it can be constructive. Desire is energy. It is a fuel. And so we will be exploring also the energies each time we meet of what we're working with. So you're going to start to feel, it's almost like you're going to start to feel your emotions in a new way, where we haven't had these discussions before, but you start to see them almost like clay. You can start to create with them, and it's going to make your poetry even more, delicious. You can really feel it. And it's really about giving permission so that you have the space, and we will not be rushing. We will be taking our slow time, drinking our tea and our honey. And I might even use this pot. I wanted to show you. I got this in Morocco. It was like this wild a marketplace where they had snakes. They were holding like cobras, and they were coming right up to you and saying, "Do you want to take a picture?" And you're like, "No," but I guess you pay them to go away. And then they had like monkeys, and I got my hand hennaed, and you go into these alleys, but they're kind of like these ancient alleys. People are selling like rugs, and I need to shine this baby up. It's been on top of the fridge. I haven't used it, but they said that it was pure silver, but I think so though, because I looked in the bottom, and you know, yeah, but I think it might need a little bit of a cleanse. And but perhaps I'll be using this pot, to have my beautiful tea. I love tea. I love Earl Grey, and so you can bring whatever tea you enjoy. And I wanted to show you the necklace that I have too. This is the Hamza. So it's for protection too, and I love wearing this. It's really light, but it's really fun, and I always feel like protected when I wear it. So, okay. So logistics are, we are going to start on the 14th, and we're going to be going every week or every other week. Let's see. And we're ending December 21st. Wow, okay. And we are going to be doing a really great early bird special. I really love people who are meant to join, and I always give like scholarships away to people because I want people to join. I want the right people. Everyone should be able to enjoy the arts and to be invited into such things. So I invite you at the early bird rate. It's irresistible, but it's more about us kind of wanting to be generous and wanting to invite you into the sacred space, because I know that it's just poetry, but I always say that, you come into these spaces and you leave, you're never going to be the same in a good way. These spaces, these places where we go deep into our poetry, into ourselves, into breathing, into acknowledgement of our emotions, we begin to embody. And embodiment's a big deal. Embodiment is a big deal. As somebody who could hardly be in my body for a very long time, I was never able to be inside here. So for me, embodiment meant being here. And it happens in increments. Because when you do this work and you start to work with your soul, you start to call back those pieces, you call them back, and they're all over. And they're all over for many reasons. You leave them in, pieces of yourself in your ex-lovers. You leave pieces of yourself, when you travel sometimes. But it can be joyful, but also we leave pieces of ourselves when we experience trauma of any kind. So we start to reclaim those pieces and bring them back. And so word by word, we are rebuilding ourselves and recreating ourselves and reclaiming our innocence. So I really feel so confident that you will enjoy this as much as we enjoy supporting you and leading you and just bringing you back to you. That's what it's about. So I wanted to just do this without thinking about doing another, book project, because that takes a tremendous amount of, time, energy, and work. And we will probably do it anyways. But I didn't want that pressure. And I wanted to keep the price point nice and low for you. So at the end, I'll probably be so inspired and have a book cover that I'll say, okay, let's do this, But for now, we're just going to be. And so, yeah, okay, so let's talk about this. I would suggest, if you have an inkling you'd like to join us, to join now, because we do have our early bird now. And that early bird will be over September 1st. So you definitely want to get on that. Don't hesitate. If you're like me, I always think I'm gonna sign up for something, but then I have like a window open, and I always like to go back and forth about it, and it's kind of squirrely, um, just because I always wait to the last minute, and then I'm like, okay, So but then sometimes I've missed out. I've missed out on opportunities because I kind of waited, to the last minute, and then like this sale was over. So if it's something that I really feel is going to evolve me and grow me, I don't wait anymore. I say, okay, let's do it. Let's do it. Because once you commit, like anything in life, the moment that you commit to something, some kind of magic happens. Some kind of magic happens. That commitment brings you all in, and then you start to dream about poetry. You start to see in poetry. The little bird in your yard will start to speak poetry. It just, there's something about it, like it's kind of like I used to do a lot of healing courses, and I used to take them, and I mean, I just wanted to learn everything about healing. So the moment that I would sign up for a course and I'd make that commitment, then I would start even reaping the benefits before it even started. It's almost like that consciousness started to open up for me. And that's what happens. So if you join now, you're already going to start to feel it. You're going to buy the most beautiful notebook. You're going to get the most wonderful pen. You're going to clear your desk, and something's going to happen in that commitment. So I say, don't wait to the last minute, because I'm going to be very firm that on September 1st, we are going to double the price. So I always get the people that are like, okay, I know it's a day later or 2 days later. Can I still get the early bird? And, I have to start really like creating those boundaries and taking this work more seriously, in the sense that it's sacred. And so when it comes to sacred work, you have to honor it. And we're going to start putting those boundaries up. So I'm just giving you some warning here. And so after we complete this, program, you're going to have beautiful poetry. You might want to write your own book. And again, as I said, I might open up that portal for you. So it's just a no-brainer. I think you should join us. It's just going to be very special. And we're meeting every other week, okay? Yeah, I should know that. Well, I co-created it with Gila, and we were talking about either meeting every week or every other week. So, yes, each week we will also have a beautiful radiant sutra to share, and you'll be surprised what comes in to these sessions. That's all I can say. you'll be surprised at the magic. So I'm going to read one last sutra before I say goodbye. In the crucible of emotion, poetry becomes the balm, each verse a testament to the soul's enduring strength, where pain is transformed into profound insight, and the heart's resilience shines through every line. So I would just say take a deep breath and put your hand over your heart and just feel into it. Feel into it. And just feel how your heart feels, knowing that you are already part of this beautiful group. You've committed, you've signed up. And if you feel that warm expansion, that's a yes. And if you feel a cold contraction, that's no. That means you're not ready to receive all this love. So for those of you that do say yes, there's so much goodness waiting for you. And I cannot wait to meet you. I cannot wait to meet you. We will be having an orientation, the first class. That's not the official class, but we will be having an orientation to get to know you, to kind of give you an idea of the flow and how each week, every other week is going to look. So we're going to set you up for success, and you're going to be moving into this new season and into the seasons with this with you. And it's nice to walk with something, with a purpose. So yeah, this is your invitation to join us, and I hope you do. I will share more information if you'd like below. And it's an invitation not just to come to the class, but come back to yourself. So thank you so much for listening to my rambling. I hope you enjoyed it. And as you can tell, I'm already wearing my fuzzy, like, it's chilly out here. So I was like, I need to get fuzzy, cozy, tea time, all that good stuff. Getting ready for this change of season. And I know that this beautiful poetry group will change all of our lives. So I hope to see you there. Much love.